You know that guilt you feel after you make a pretty big mistake and you're kind of embarrassed about it? That right there is the least efficient emotion you could possibly be feeling. That guilt, for all intents and purposes, is a stop sign. Put it directly in front of you before you can continue to make progress. You're shaming yourself so much you're staying still. And you're stuck because of imaginary judgments placed on people that aren't thinking about you. Welcome back, fellas. Today we are talking about the guilt problem and why it's been holding you back so freaking much. The guilt problem from the top down is basically you just being scared of making mistakes, especially if others might see them. So there's guilt and there's also embarrassment. This guilt and embarrassment keeps you frozen. It keeps you stuck in the same place. So if you feel like you've been living the same 6 months over and over and over, telling yourself you're gonna finally take action, but you never do, this is why. It all comes from guilt. And I can relate to this pretty heavily because for the first 18 to 19 years of my life, I was shrouded in guilt and self-loathing. I hated myself. I've talked about this quite a bit. For a very long time, I was the butt of the joke. Never had any girls. I had no confidence, which led to me being a complete doormat when it came to social situations and getting made fun of. I also couldn't ever finish what I started. I would have an idea, but I would never follow through. Not following through on what you said you were gonna do is a huge no-no for being a man or any good person. But then COVID happened, and during that quarantine, a switch got flipped for me. Everything changed. I was in college studying business. I had now every hour of every day to do whatever it is that I wanted to. What was more important was I had no eyes on me. I had no social interaction. I had no pressure. Isolation forced me to realize that this guilt that I was feeling wasn't helping me. Without the constant judgment of other people that I thought was there, I was actually able to start making progress on my life and stopped caring what other people thought. Because of this clarity, because of me making this realization, I was able to lose weight. I started posting online and it changed the trajectory of my life permanently. I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for the realization that I made back in 2020. When you finally make the connection that this guilt is just keeping you in one place, you feel free. It feels like a weight gets lifted off of your shoulders. It feels like you're not bogged down by all of society's eyes just staring at you. To me, the only people's opinions that actually ended up mattering were the people that believed in me, the people that actually cared about me, my friends and my family. And also, small side note, if you're not 100% sure how much somebody actually cares about you, here's a really good test. Tell them some good news that happened to you. Their reaction will tell you everything you need to know. If they truly love you and care about you, they will be over the moon just as excited as you are. That's really rare, and you may not have that with that many people. Most people who aren't as close to you will say that they're happy for you, but you will definitely be able to sense some sort of backhanded compliment or some sort of energy where they're not that happy to hear it. This is because most people want to see you do well, just not better than them. So once I condensed the list of the people's opinions that actually mattered to me, people that cared about me, I realized that I need to do this for them. I need to get over my guilt problem for them. They deserve the best version of me. Letting go of the fear of embarrassment allowed me to actually get what I wanted from life. And this isn't just an anecdotal experience. This is backed by science. Research show that people who worry intensely about other people's perceptions and opinions are more likely to experience stress and even depression. Fear of judgment literally makes people stuck in place. So now we know the problem. Let me give you some solutions. I'm not gonna let you walk away without knowing how to solve this. There are 3 systems that I implemented that changed my life and my entire relationship with guilt. First one I call making space for grace. And no, grace isn't just some beautiful random woman that's gonna come into your life and save you. Grace is giving yourself permission to screw up. Since you are a human being, it is guaranteed that you will make mistakes. So when you're creating a plan, when you're developing a system, whether you're trying to get your money right, you're trying to find a new job, you're trying to get a girl, you're trying to build something on social media maybe, whatever project it is that you're working on, you must account for some mistakes. You must be prepared to make mistakes. That way you can learn from them and move on, instead of getting blindsided by something that you knew was coming and then halting all progress. That's what you've been doing all the way up until this point. We're done doing that. This brings me to my second point. Raise the standard of what you feel guilty about. You could come up with about 20 million reasons for you to feel guilty. I could come up with a bunch of reasons to feel guilty too. This sounds kind of like a loaded statement, so let me give you a really easy example. Yesterday, I was playing pickup basketball with my friends. We play 5-on-5. We play like 10 or 15 games a night. It was tied 7-7, first to 9. They needed to score one more bucket to win, and I turned the ball over. I got a steal, turned the ball over, gave it to their best shooter. He made it, game over. I felt really guilty about it for about 60 seconds. Then I snapped out of it and I realized this literally will not matter once this next game starts. So because my standards for guilt are so much higher now, I am no longer self-loathing or guilty about making that mistake. A really easy question to ask yourself when you're trying to raise your standards: is this gonna matter tomorrow? Is this gonna matter in a week? Is this gonna matter in a year? And so on. There's a really, 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 really good chance that most of the stuff that you're feeling guilty over will not matter in 5 months, 6 months, 1 month, a week. So why spend your time feeling guilty about it? Guilt is the most inefficient emotion. You know what else is super inefficient? Embarrassment. And this brings me to my last system. Embarrassment is the cost of entry. This is one of the greatest lessons I've learned more recently. Embarrassment and embarrassing yourself is an absolute cheat code. Think about a time where you got embarrassed, like a bad time. Well, you got really embarrassed, okay? Think about something. You learned a lesson from that. Whether it was something you wanted to learn at the time is a different story, but you learned a lesson from that and you have permanently changed your behavior because of it. So if you want to learn faster, get embarrassed more. This is a phenomenally uncomfortable exercise that will change the trajectory of your life for good. Hell, the last YouTube video I posted, I showed a picture of me crying to the internet. That's a digital footprint that's gonna stay there forever. But guess what? I don't care. I'm not embarrassed by it. And it might sound a little crazy, and it probably sounds a little uncomfortable, but I promise you it works. Why? People are not thinking about you. Even if you do embarrass yourself, they will not go home and think about it for more than 5 minutes. Everyone is so caught up in themselves, they will not notice you. No one is thinking about you, and that's a wonderful thing. So if there's no audience, then there's no need to get stage fright. And those are the 3 most helpful systems that have helped me get over my fear of guilt, get over my fear of embarrassment, and propel my life forwards during one of the most dark times in my life. So to summarize, since you probably want to write this down and actually apply it into your life, here are the 3 systems in a nutshell. Number 1, make space for grace. Plan for making a few mistakes in the process. You're going to. Number 2, raise the standard of what you feel guilty about. If it's not gonna matter in a week, it doesn't matter right now. And number 3, embarrassment is the cost of entry. If you want to learn faster, you need to get embarrassed more. And those are the 3 systems I used to get over my guilt. I hope this helped. I really liked making up this video, and I think it's really important to hear. I talk about this a lot. So if you want to learn a little bit more about this and how guilt and embarrassment and how your thoughts really work, there's a really solid book that's a very easy intro to psychology and how your brain really works. It's called Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Wendt. Very simple. It doesn't throw a ton of data at you or anything like that, so it's very digestible, and there's a lot of really solid quotes and ideas and thoughts to write down that can really be helpful when it comes to managing shame and embarrassment and guilt and stuff like that. And if you want to practice kind of getting your guilt or embarrassment out there into the world, in the top link in the description, I created a completely free, completely anonymous Google form. 10 really hard-hitting questions. You can answer whatever ones you want. You can leave whatever ones you want blank. You can share some stuff and get some stuff out. Get some stuff off your chest and put it somewhere without feeling shameful, because I will have no idea who's saying what in there. I don't. I've already had plenty of submissions. I don't know who it is, but I can tell it's helping. So I want to extend that invitation to you. Top link in the description. There's also tons of other resources on Instagram, link in the description as well. You can find me at Big Fella Brand. That's where this YouTube channel is anyway. And if you could do me a favor, if you did like this video, I want you to tell me in the comments what stood out to you the most so I can know how else to help you for next time. Because I have a lot of fun talking about this stuff. Remember, the life that you want is behind the guilt that you're placing in front of you. Keep it simple, big fella.